In a recent development, Nyanza governors are demanding for compensation for victims of police brutality and are contemplating the establishment of a memorial museum for those who lost their lives in the region. Led by Siaya Governor James Orengo, these leaders have accused the Kenya Kwanza government of suppressing freedom of expression and assembly by using excessive force during recent anti-government demonstrations. These protests, focused on the high cost of living, resulted in numerous fatalities and injuries, with a significant number occurring in Nyanza counties. The leaders, along with civil society organizations from across the country, are urging Kenyans to be prepared to defend the constitution should the state attempt to revert to a dictatorial regime. They have expressed concerns that some of the government's actions in handling civil disobedience display characteristics of a dictatorial regime. These sentiments were made during the 3rd Annual Civic Space Protection Summit held in Kisumu.
My name is Peter Kiama, the chairperson of the Civic Freedoms Forum, a national platform for safeguarding civic space. We do recognize that civic space is critical for our well-being, but also for us to enjoy all our rights as provided for in the Bill of Rights of our Constitution. We are underlining the freedom of assembly, freedom of the media, freedom of protest, and digital space as well. So here we are saying we are the defenders of our Constitution, and we've made a few observations in this particular summit. One of them is the dangers that present themselves with regard to the enjoyment of the freedom of assembly, association, protest, media, and also freedoms with regard to digital space and privacy. We are seeing emerging threats to that. We have seen in the recent past, as we have said in our discussions this morning, that the manner in which the government is policing public assemblies is completely unconstitutional and against the laws of this land. It is unfortunate that the manner in which the police have gone about managing public assemblies has led to deaths, has led to serious injuries, has led to the maiming of our people. In most of the cases that we have found, we have documented as various groups here, the postmortems we've done, the forensic work we've done. We do notice that most of those who died and suffered serious life-threatening injuries are people who are not in the demonstrations. These are people, for example, in Nyalenda Estate, who were pulled out of their houses, brutalized to death or shot to death. And we are saying that this is totally unacceptable in a constitutional democracy like ours.
But in summary, I also want to say we are not in a good place. I think our constitution is in danger, and it will be by drips, or it can be by one act of a state agency or officer taking away the hard-won freedoms and rights that we have had under the constitution. I think that Kenyans should be eternally vigilant, like Mr. Peter Kiama said, so that we don't lose our freedoms and our rights. One of the most important pillars, I must say, which this constitution came up with, is devolution. And when we talk devolution, sometimes we don't talk about the principles surrounding the need to have these devolved units. And if you look at those principles, they talk about people participation and people being able to exercise their sovereign authority at the grassroots level. So it should be an empowering constitution. And looking at it overboard, I think we're not in a good place. And this administration must be taken into account so that Kenya get the promises, true promises of the or the new constitution. We need to bring in our other governors. Professor Nyong'o is away. We agreed with Dr. Willie that we talk with Uchila Yako, Governor Uchila Yako and Governor Gladys Wanga, so that we make a formal pronouncement as four governors. Providing that space is not bad. I know that right now, if you go to the Supreme Court, in what used to be the dungeons, is a record of the struggle, courtesy former Chief Justice Willie Mutunga as a historical record. And I know that many people who are part of these atrocities, because of the places they occupy, have managed sometimes to go to that memorial, if I may call it, and see with anger internally, saying, I wish I could rub it off. But it's a constant reminder. Even for a judge who sits in court with that museum at the Supreme Court, you will always stand reminded that all this has come about after a very long struggle.
Well, a vibrant civil society is a very important recipe for any democracy. Now, examples abound. The democracies that we want to look forward to, or that we look forward to today, are because of a vibrant civil society. Now, we are here today to safeguard the civil society space that we think is shrinking. Now, we all know that our people, in pursuit of the rights, as enshrined in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, have really been, tortured, so to speak, okay? Quite a number of our people have died, okay, because of police brutality when, they seek or break peaceful assemblies as enshrined in the Constitution. Many people have lost their limbs. Many people have lost their property, okay? And I think that this meeting being in Kisumu is significant. Significant in the sense that we have lost the highest number of people if you are to consider the recent demonstrations as a case in point. But allow me also to say this, that I want to thank the civil society because all these cases are being documented, okay? But one day, somebody must be held to account for what is happening now. Kenyans must be let free to enjoy the Bill of Rights or the rights as enshrined in the Constitution without intimidation, without torture, without killing, without maiming. And indeed, some of the atrocities that happen in this area, are things that should not happen in any free society. We know people who are pulled out of their houses and killed, okay, in cold blood, okay, pulled from their houses. And so we are saying one day, someday. And again, we have said it here before, and let me just repeat it again, that those who lose their lives or who lost their lives deserve some form of compensation. Those who have lost their limbs deserve some form of compensation. And those who have lost their property also deserve some compensation from the government. As we speak now, there are people within our county who are still in camps. Yet it is the government who is supposed to, take care of their security and their safety.